very high number. It's 67% that are back in full time, right?
There's 67% back in full time. There's 30 some odd percent back in a hybrid basis. We believe that the conditions have changed now so that everybody can be back in full time. But the bottom line is this. I begged the Trump administration. I can show you, I have many, many, many letters right now. I went to my office to find them. I begged the Trump administration to do exactly what the Biden administration did, which is real safety guidance that the former president didn't mock every other day. I thought Redfield was really trying to do a good job. Yeah. And resources. And what Biden did was they did the safety guidance, some of which,
but the point is, but here's the point. A lot of these schools went back already, right? So you're saying, yes, the Trump administration was very aggressive. They wanted to get kids back into the classroom. And one of the reasons they wanted that was because the study was already showing last fall that transmission among children was very low. You had countries in Europe, you had people all over the place, in China, sending their kids back to school when our children were not going back to school. And that's why there was so much frustration. Unless you're in a Catholic school or a private school, those kids have been back 100% since September, Randi.
Actually, a lot of the charter schools, Martha, have not been back. But the bottom line is this.
Most of them are.
If we had actually listened to Dr. Redfield and the CDC last May, and that the former president hadn't kept on changing his mind and changing these things, we would have gotten more schools back in session.
Because what you told me was that there wasn't money, that some of these schools had problems like mold. I mean, all these things started getting into the mix that were not part of the equation at all when parents were just wanting to get their kids to go back. So obviously you didn't have the pull with the prior administration, but in this administration, there have been $20 million has gone to Democrats, from teachers unions and teachers organizations. So I guess that money seems to be working.
Actually, what's working is that in September and October, we were getting a lot of kids back to school with the layered mitigation, with the testing. The real game changer, unfortunately, became huge increase in COVID in November and December. That put the brakes on a bunch of it.
That's true. That's a valid point.
And then the second game changer became the Biden administration, where the Trump administration helped Pfizer and Moderna get that vaccine done. But the Biden administration got it out to people, and that became the real game changer.
Well, that's because that's what started in January. That's when they were available. So, that's the way it happened. But the fact of the matter is that transmission was very low, even in the fall. There were plenty of colleges and independent schools that were back all fall, that were in the classroom.
So the bottom line became, they were back in the fall, and then they went in and out. We had this conversation about the 3% in New York City. Right. The bottom line, Martha, is it's time for our kids to be back in school. And I am grateful that the Biden administration is listening to parents and to teachers and to administrators and to even Fox to try to figure out how we get people vaccinated, how we get our kids back to school, and how we get our country.
Let me ask you about vaccinations. Absolutely. Everyone agrees on that score. I mean, we can discuss why it didn't happen a long time ago. But God forbid, now it's spring, right? School's almost over, and a lot of these kids are not back yet. What will it take? You said it's time to go back. So are teachers going to require that all the students are vaccinated? And when is that going to be? Are you going to have everyone back in September, 100% in class, 5 days a week?
I hope so.
And will you require that every student who comes into the school is vaccinated?
No.
No, absolutely not.
But that's why you have to still have some mitigation, because it's only emergency use vaccination right now. But I would hope that Fox would do what everybody else in public health is doing, which is we have to get our kids vaccinated. Once the vaccination is okay, I would hope Fox says to all these people that don't want the vaccines, that think there's a problem. Why don't you and I do things together to get our kids back to school? This is what we need to do. We have to stop the misinformation. We have to stop the disinformation. We have to stop the chaos.
As you know, many of those students were back without being vaccinated, and the CDC said it wasn't required for teachers or students to be vaccinated to go back to school. So children are a separate issue. Every family across America is going to make that decision about their children. We know that these are going to be widely available for them, which is great. So people have that option, and we certainly hope that they take advantage.